Hi guys, welcome back to the Housewife Historian. Today we're talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and other housewives and headlines. This is going to be a quick video today because it's a Monday morning and I have some appointments this afternoon, but I wanted to hop on and talk with you guys about some of the things that we've seen in the headlines over this weekend, including Kim and Kroy Biermann body cam footage from a night in November, I think. Pretty rough scene over there. It looked like a pretty rough scene. I want to know how you guys are doing, though. If you watched last night's Real Housewives of Potomac, what your thoughts are on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Getting a lot of mixed opinions as well. Before we get into all of that, of course, though, guys, everything in this video is, of course, alleged and for educational purposes only. There's a lot of different things we could start with, but one of the things I wanted to start with was that, okay, did you guys know that Doritos business, Beverly Beach, is non-existent at this point? If you try to go online to the website says it's unavailable. We briefly touched over the fact that we know that she had Beverly Beach and that was her business. But when she first opened up Beverly Beach, Dorito had somebody suing her for a couple of $100,000. And allegedly he had claimed he was a partner in Beverly Beach, but then they had decided to part ways and she owed him this money and she didn't pay him. And Dorito was actually on a girls' trip with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in the Bahamas when a woman chased her down over this couple $100,000. So we have that. Then did you guys know that she was on a flyer for like a live Peter Pan on Ice, if you will, sort of rendition overseas in the United Kingdom? I think it was put on by Boy George, and they put Dorito on the flyer and made it look like she was going to be there. And their first show, people were mad. They said they drove, like an hour or a couple of hours or however long that they had assumed that she was going to be at the show or she was going to be playing a part of it in it, whatever. And that was simply not the case. She had only really scheduled to be a part of 2 of the shows out of this whole debut, if you will, of Peter Pan number 2. Let's read what Bravo has to say about it. Sorry, guys, I don't have my comments on. Like I said, I'm going to be really quick this morning. I'm going to come back and do another video. This is just to get us through this morning, to hold us over. So Boy George. Now, there was a blind item about Boy George. Here's a little bit of a fun fact. The fun fact is, with him. Oh no, what happened? Nobody likes to film with him, but the network likes when he's filmed because he's on other shows. I think he does like other contestant shows, maybe like singing shows or something. I'm sure somebody can help me out in the comments. You know what I'm talking about. So he makes money for them on another show. So the network is happy to bring him on to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because of the fact that it's kind of helping them both. This article says Doritos' magical career update was announced on May 9th via tweets from Resorts World Arena in England. Peter Pan flies into Resorts World Arena this December, promising a spectacular spin on the timeless classic adventure starring Boy George as Captain Hook and stage debut of Dorito Kemsley. She was calling this her debut. I'm just going to keep going. Yes, that's right. Dorito will be taking her talents on stage, much like Erica has done in the past. If Bravo fans may recall, the Pretty Mess singer appeared on Broadway in 2020, playing Roxy Hart in Chicago. Erica is also about to begin a Las Vegas residency called Bête en Blonde. I'm smiling from ear to ear, the singer told Watch What Happens Live Andy Cohen. Now, we saw some of that in the season already, and we've already heard that the tickets were like $7. Cheap. And they actually did a 6-part series on Erica and her time in Vegas residency. Like, I don't even know if it'll air. I don't know who makes these decisions. Anyway, so who will Dorito play in the Storybook Classic? The Tickets Factory provides more info on this website. According to the ticketing platform, Dorito will play a mermaid in Peter Pan, and she's looking forward to slipping on some fins. Quote, let me get my British accent. I have a much better Southern accent than I do an English accent, so we'll just try the best that we can. Oh, PK, I'm so excited to work with George, who is a dear friend and a godfather to my children, Jaggy and Phoenix, Dorito said in a statement. And speaking of Doritos kiddos, they'll be joining their mama and godfather on stage as well. Wow, it's going to be a family event, guys. Dorito confirmed in a statement that her little ones will be appearing in the production of Peter Pan's Gang. Dorito's husband, PK, shared the big news on his Instagram. So they've been really busy over here working on Peter Pan too. Sharing a look at the production poster, England native wrote, "Yes, it's true. Dorito's stage debut as the mermaid. Boy George is the captain, and Jaggy and Phoenix are the lost boys across the UK." He also listed the performance dates, which begin in December and run through January. And Dorito from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills castmate Crystal Minkoff hopped into the comments and seemingly was jokingly advocating for her husband Rob to join the production. And she said, in quote, "And where's Rob's role?" So Dory and PK put this together because PK is allegedly Boy George's manager, and it's called, it's like a Peter Pan #2, a sequel. And they put Dorito on the pamphlet and made it look like she was going to be at every single show, but she was really only going to be at like 2 shows. And they were not clear about that on their website, and they were not clear about that on their flyer. So I think they're going to have to issue refunds, which I was surprised to hear people say, like, we drove like 2 hours one way to see her. I'm like, really? That's interesting. Okay. But like, maybe they're just exaggerating because they're like so annoyed that they bought the tickets and went there to see her. And so they're like, well, you know what? Just add some of my drive time onto my, whatever. So that's what we have about that. I'm surprised she would bring the kids on stage. Are you guys surprised that she would bring the kids on stage? The only reason I'm surprised she would bring the kids on stage is because she has PTSD and trauma. And we've talked about this on so many different levels. And we're going to talk a little bit more because we got to talk about Kyle and Kyle's good friend. I have to talk to you guys about all that. I have an obligation, I feel like. And I'm going to share with you guys some very, very, very personal things about myself that are just part of my story and my testimony, my life. And I just typically don't share them to an audience on the internet because the internet is not a nice place. But I have a lot of nice people in my audience and my followers and my subscribers. So I will be doing that. Stay tuned. But I am surprised that she would take the 2 children and put them on TV, considering the robbery, considering her PTSD, considering allegedly just getting $10,000 taken from her. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but this has to make sense somewhere, and this is not making a lot of sense for me. When I say you have a daily limit at the bank, and the daily limit at the bank might be $3,000 in cash, that doesn't mean that you can keep taking separate transactions of $3,000 in cash. That means that you can have $3,000 in cash out of any of the accounts that you like, and anything, even if it's a separate transaction, separate from that $3,000, unless if you were cashing a check, wouldn't be in cash. You couldn't just have transaction. Do you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Because some people had some questions about that, and I just wanted to make that clear. Like, that's another thing. If you have PTSD, you're really probably not going to walk around with $10,000 in your purse. You're just not going to do that, in my opinion. Especially if you've had help with PTSD. And she's had the best help. She had the most newest, the EMF. They do that with some of the girls that are on my caseloads. I mean, it could work wonders. So just saying. All right, guys. Well, I gotta hop off here. I did drop a new podcast yesterday, so you guys should check that out on Housewives 411. I'm gonna get my website up to date for you guys, and I think that's it for right now. Happy Monday.